All right, it's game time decision time for today's national championship between Ohio State and Alabama. We're the Buckeye Talk crew. I'm Nathan Baird here with Doug Lesmerises and Stephen Means. Stephen and I in Miami today covering this game. And these are kind of the tips and the strategies that we think that these teams need to employ if they want to win this game tonight, which they obviously do. I'll go first. Mac Jones has not been sacked more than 3 times in any game this season. This is what he's known for in this Alabama offense. It's not necessarily that he's got an arm that's just launching deep balls down the field, though he is a talented thrower. And it's not that he has the scrambling effect of Justin Fields. It's this precision. It's getting the ball out quickly. It's just kind of keeping this impressive machine running. Ohio State's got to disrupt that some way. So I'm saying that Ohio State needs to sack him at least 3 times. It's not just the pressure. I think they're going to have to take him off schedule, take him down, get negative yardage in the passing game at some point against Alabama, because this is such a balanced offense. They do such a good job of utilizing all their weapons. You've got to make it negative for them at some point. If you can't do that, and again, we don't know exactly where the personnel might be compromised for Ohio State in this game because of COVID problems, but if it is on the defensive front, somebody else has to kind of step up and create that pressure maybe for the first time all season. Stephen, what is your game time decision?
Justin Fields was awesome last game. 385 yards, 6 touchdowns. He got back to being the efficient quarterback we all know him to be. But also the last time we saw him be the efficient quarterback we've known him to be, and then he played a team with any type of a pulse, Indiana game showed up, and the Northwestern Justin Fields showed up right after the Michigan State game, where he also got back to being the awesome quarterback we know him to be. So my question is with him is now it shouldn't be what it is. It's consistency. Can you do it again? Were you awesome in the moment, but does it kind of fall off because the team has seen that now and they can kind of scheme to it and figure it out a little bit? You slip back into old habits. This is probably on Ryan Day as well too with some of the play calling, but since Justin Fields is on the field, I'll focus on him. Can he take what he did last game and enhance it, or at least be some version of that against Alabama? Because as we discussed on podcasts and basically throughout this whole season, especially since Trey Sermon has showed up and become a legitimate running threat, that's important. But Justin Fields is still the best thing about this offense and the most important part of this offense. So he needs to be in that same realm. He doesn't need to be Superman, but he needs to be, I guess, Clark Kent, where if he needs to take his cape, put his cape on and take his glasses off real quick, he can do that.
Doug?
So I think the game time decision rests on Kerry Combs and how he's going to line up his secondary. Will they stay in single high safety most of the game, which they do basically more than any team in the country? And these are a lot of smart film people that I've been reading this week. Deontay Lee, who has been writing at cleveland.com, doing great work for us. I read Seth Galina from PFF. Bill Landis at The Athletic did a great breakdown. I think it's a common thing. It's like we know Ohio State is a little bit rare in how they typically align schematically, and it's to stop the run, and it leaves a safety back there by himself. Do you do anything different? Do you play 2 safeties more often, which we talked a lot about for the Clemson game? And even do you play nickel defense a little bit more? Do you maybe only have 2 linebackers on the field on downs that are not third down and long? Do you try to do something against this passing attack, especially if Jalen Waddle plays, especially if you're dealing with Devontae Smith and John Mechie and Jalen Waddle and Najee Harris as a receiver out of the backfield? I just wonder if you have to offer different looks. I think they might have to. I don't know. I mean, you guys have been talking a lot about stuff. It's sort of the same thing as like, well, do you blitz? Well, do you have to get pressure? It's like, I think the general idea is, do you have to do something extra? Do you have to do something a little different? Because this Alabama offense is so elite. And I wonder what they'll do. That's the decision they have to make. How much do they stay in single high safety? How much do they stay in 3 linebackers? Or how much do they try to change up their looks and their personnel to try to deal with the best offense that they have faced as a program in I don't know how long. So that's the decision that Kerry Combs has to make for this game.
And it's a tough decision because it's a lot of things that have to do with what might you have to change up to account for this passing attack that Alabama has, completely ignoring the fact that they have an incredible running back and maybe the best offensive line in the country. But I think Alabama has some of those same decisions to make, right? It's the same balance Ohio State's bringing at you. It's the same monster potentially as Clemson found out last week. And I think Alabama's got some interesting, almost mirror image, some of the same game time decisions to make. But we'll see how it plays out tonight in Miami, near Miami. Ohio State, Alabama national championship, 8:15 kickoff, I believe. And come back to cleveland.com/OSU during the game, after the game. We're going to have tons of content up. Come back for the Buckeye Talk podcast after the game. Get the text 614-350-3315. We'll be bringing you analysis, news, whatever, as it happens before, during, and after the game. I'm Nathan Baird. He's Stephen Means. He's Doug Lesmerises. Join us tonight.